Hi guys, my name's Simon. Animal Man, Bug Bloke, or Beast Master is actually my favourite one. Got called that a few years ago. I do animal shows and I'm here today at the Courtyard Theatre. We've been doing the family festival and it's been a wonderful day and lots of people have been coming in and a lot of them thought they were scared of spiders. A lot of them have gone away today thinking spiders are wonderful, and that's why I'm here. Change people's minds about the animals. Everybody loves cute and cuddly animals like kittens and rabbits, and I've got a chinchilla. Everybody loves those. People are fascinated by spiders because they are fascinating animals, but a lot of people are scared. We're not born scared of any animal. If you think you're scared of spiders, it's because you've learnt it from somebody else. People say, I picked up a spider in the garden and it bit me. Well, it's a wild animal. So if you guys touch wild animals, you'll get bitten. Don't swim with sharks, then you won't get eaten by a shark. But don't touch wild animals. Wild animals in our garden, even though they're in Britain, are wild animals. There's 688 species of spider in Britain, and 12 of them are big enough to bite you. Don't touch them, they might bite. Let's meet some of my spiders. Spiders are amazing animals. They've actually been here 400 million years. That is the history of life. That's when life started. That's about 4.3 billion years ago. There's the spiders, and look how early they were compared to the dinosaurs. That's hundreds of millions of years before the dinosaurs. That's us right at the top, so we're very, very new. We think we're the most important animal on the planet. We're mammals, and there's 5,417 species of mammals on the whole planet. We're one of them. There's over 50,000 species of spider. And as I say, we've got 688 in Britain. But that's not the most plentiful animal on the planet. Insects, there's over 1 million that have been identified by science. But we actually think there's probably more like 5 million species of insects on the planet. So there's lots of spiders, but they don't win. They're not the most diverse animal on the planet. However, spiders are very diverse, and spiders are from money spiders, the little teeny ones we see at home, to the big bird-eating spiders. And they actually live in the Amazon. So we're here and they're from the Amazon, the big ones there. But big spiders live right around the tropics, right around the warmest part of the world. In Africa, the really big ones are called baboon spiders. They can be quite aggressive, they can bite. The ones in Asia can be quite nasty, and they tend to bite first and ask questions afterwards. They've got some good ones in Australia. The really big ones are called huntsmen. But the dangerous spiders are the little ones. It's not the big ones. You've heard of black widow spiders. You've heard of redback spiders, wandering spiders. In Brazil, they're very dangerous. Those are small, they're this kind of size. Has anybody seen a false widow spider in this country? They might be in your garden, they might be in your shed, and they're about that big, and they've got a lovely round abdomen like a Malteser. They're only about that big, and if you pick them up very carefully and gently, you should be okay. I'd probably leave them alone, but they can bite you. They are a wild spider, and they're not a native spider. They actually turned up in this country in about 1860, and they arrived on the south coast of England with timber imports and fruit imports that had come from Madeira and the Canary Islands, and they've spread throughout Britain, and now you can find them everywhere in Britain. Spiders have venom. There's no such thing as a poisonous spider. Every spider on the planet is venomous. Most spiders on the planet have neurotoxin, so they inject their venom into the prey. It disables the ability for the animal to move, basically. It attacks its ability to breathe. It actually stops its lungs from moving. It affects the neurons in its brain, and eventually it digests the food from the inside out, turns it into soup, and then sucks it up the fangs. So that's a neurotoxin. But the false widow spiders in this country have a cytotoxin as well, which means if they bite you, it actually necrotizes your skin. And that means it eats away the skin, it eats the flesh. That's a good one for Halloween. Flesh-eating spiders, and we've got those in this country. If you see them, probably don't pick them up. It's about time you met some of my spiders. This is from the Amazon. Now, I've been saying this all day here today, and I say it all day, every day. But guys, the Amazon is in trouble. We're chopping down the trees. And in 5 years from now, we will have killed so many trees in the Amazon, there won't be enough rainfall for the rest of the trees to survive. So by the end of the century, when you guys will still be here and you'll have children and grandchildren, the Amazon won't have any trees left. It will be grassland. And that's really sad. That's a tarantula spider from the Amazon. Not from Amazon, the online shop, from the Amazon, the rainforest. That's a beautiful spider. Every living thing has got a Latin name. This one's got a lovely Latin name. This one's called an avicularia avicularia. It's a pink-toed avicularia arboreal spider, which means it lives up in the tops of the trees. That's about full grown. And if this is in danger, it jumps and glides 100 meters down to the forest floor. Very beautiful little spider. Very gentle. If you pick this up in a forest, it would try and bite you because it would be scared, but it would be your fault. Don't touch wild animals. Very cute. Now, some people say that's not a tarantula, that's not big enough for a tarantula. Some people think tarantulas are all huge, but they're not. Depends on where they live. I have got a bigger tarantula with me, and this next one is actually younger than that one. This next one is just a baby. And that's the wrong one. Amateur. This one's a bird-eating spider. Very, very beautiful. Amazing animal. How do we know it's a spider? It's got 8 legs and it's got 8 eyes. It's got a little bump right on the top of its head. Not all spiders have 8 eyes. Some have 6. Some even have 4. They've always got an even number of eyes, but they've always got 8 legs. They've also got 2 body segments. Insects have 3 body segments. They have a head, they have a thorax, they have a tail. These guys have the chest and the head fused together. It's called a cephalothorax. Really good word. And that's the abdomen. That's where all the food is produced, and that's where it produces the silk. That is a baby. She will grow the size of a dinner plate. 400 million years ago, when they first appeared, spiders were actually the size of a wheelie bin lid. Imagine trying to shove one of those down your plug hole. And as they get bigger, they move out of their old body. That's the spider, and that's the old body of that spider. So she moved out of there about a month ago when she got too big for her skin. So if you guys eat all your food, you'll need new sweatshirts because you'll get too big. She moved out of her old sweatshirt. That's the exoskeleton of the spider. We've got bones inside our body. It's called an endoskeleton. They have an exoskeleton. And if you guys walk on the beach, you'll see dead crabs. But they're not dead crabs, they're the exoskeletons of the crabs. And the crabs have moved out because their shell was too small. They've had to get a new shell. So that's very beautiful. And that is just a baby. Let me show you this one. Spiders are famous for spinning silk. Let me show you some silk. Very beautiful little spider. And I'm not going to that takeaway again. I didn't even get any rice. It's just rubbish, isn't it? Have a look at this one. This one's cute. Very beautiful little spider. They can do amazing things. Because they've been here 400 million years, they don't have big brains. They're not classed as intelligent animals. But they've survived 400 million years. Being intelligent, having a big brain, perhaps it's overrated. We're not going to survive 400 million years. Spiders have. They can go upside down like spider pig. It's got little hooks in its toes. That's the same as most insects and all other arachnids. Remember, it's an arachnid, not an insect. This little fella here can actually live for about a year with no food. I can go for about an hour and a half. A year with nothing to eat. It can hold its breath for 3 days underwater. Some spiders actually hunt underwater. They spin silk onto their front legs and they make a net and they sit very, very quiet and still. And then when a fish goes past, they actually grab it in the silken net. So they grab fish. Unbelievable. Biggest spider in Britain is actually called it's the fen raft spider. And it's not as big as this. It would be about half this size, but you find them in the fens, so sort of Norfolk kind of area, Lincolnshire. Very beautiful. You do find some in Shropshire, actually, in the mosses in North Shropshire. So this is a beautiful little animal. This little fella here can actually lose a leg and grow a brand new leg. These can survive glaciation and radiation. We hit them with a slipper, shouldn't do that. They rarely survive that, but if they do, we suck them up the hoover. And that's called Dyson with death. And that's a really bad joke you can annoy your parents with. This spider, not only can it do those other things, but it spins silk from its own bottom. Can you see the silk catching in the light? Over 100 strands of silk right there. And each of those strands is 5 times stronger than steel for its thickness. That is the second strongest natural material made by an animal, second only to limpet's teeth. Who knew? They can make 7 different kinds of silk. They can make different thicknesses, they can make different strengths, they can make different stickiness of silk. And the silk is liquid inside their bodies. So in here are silk glands, and the silk is liquid. Then it's forced down tubes and comes out of these, which are the spinnerets. And as it comes out, when it touches the air, it solidifies into those fibers of silk. Some spiders actually eat their own silk. When they finish using it, they gobble it up and they actually break it down and reuse it, because it's quite expensive in terms of energy to produce it. And it's long lines of proteins, and they actually reabsorb it. There's some more silk. If you look at the front of the spider, you can see the 8 little eyes right there. And if I hold it like this and hold it up, you can actually see the fangs on the front of the spider. They're called chelicera, and they're the ancient mouth parts and fangs of that beautiful animal. So a lot of people are scared of spiders. They squish them, and I always say you shouldn't squish spiders, because we're related to spiders. We're related to every living thing on the planet. And we actually need spiders. Spiders eat flies and mosquitoes. They're insectivores. And with climate change, it's going to get warmer all over the world. We will get diseases like malaria and dengue fever and yellow fever and West Nile virus and chikungunya and Nipah virus, Zika virus, Japanese encephalitis. These diseases are all spread by flies and mosquitoes. These eat the flies and mosquitoes. We need them. And they are part of life. Again, I say to people, nature is Jenga, and nature is balanced like Jenga. And if we take the bits out we want or don't want, it all falls down. So we've got to look after the planet. So, some cool spider facts. Hopefully you've learned a couple of facts you didn't know. I've got one more thing I want to show you, because this is an arachnid, as I mentioned. It's not an insect, but there's other kinds of arachnids. Other arachnids are mites and ticks, and horseshoe crabs are actually closely related to arachnids. You've probably never seen a mite, but here's a good fact for you. Mites live in your skin. So if your skin itches, it's because your little mites in your face are moving. And they're called Demodex brevis, and they suck oil out of your face. And when you're asleep at night time, they climb out onto your face. And they've got no bums. And after a couple of weeks of crawling around on your face, they explode in a little puff of poo. And you wake up in the morning and you've got crusty stuff in your eye. And your mum probably says, oh, you've had a visit from the Sandman. It's sleepy dust. It's not, it's mite poo. There's another sort that lives in the gap between the skin and your eyelashes. And they go in head first. And when they die, you absorb them into your face. And here's one you can tell your mum. They eat mascara. It's a waste of money. I've stopped using it. This is another beautiful arachnid. That's a scorpion. Now, these have been here 470 million years. And these guys lived in the sea. That's why it looks like a lobster. They came out of the sea because the sea got warmer. And anything that stayed in the sea stood a good chance of dying. And most life on the planet actually died 251 million years ago. It's called the Great Dying, the biggest ever mass extinction. These guys came out of the sea. These were 9 foot, 3 meters. They were this big. And now they grow about the length of my hand. Amazing animal. 8 legs, 8 eyes. Looks like a lobster because they evolved in the sea, came out of the sea. They're survivors. And now they live in forests and deserts. And the coolest thing about this is that they can see in ultraviolet. All spiders can see in ultraviolet. All scorpions can see in ultraviolet. They can see their friends at night time in the forest. They don't need an ultraviolet light like this. And if you cross black and purple, you shouldn't really get turquoise. But that is seriously cool. They can see in UV. That's called biofluorescence. Amazing animal. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed those facts about arachnids. Don't be scared of them. Don't pick them up. Don't touch them unless they're pets like these. Don't touch wild ones because you might die, which would be bad. My name's Simon, Animal Man. I'm from Corner Exotics, and I am available for birthday parties, bar mitzvahs, barbecues, baptisms, after wedding parties. You name it, I can do it. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you guys again.